The guy never expected that the little girl he casually took in as his disciple in his previous life would recognize him at first glance 400 years later.
君は外人校の関係者か。
And honestly, it was all because he went way too hard during the entrance exam. The Academy's first test was a battle royale. The moment he stepped into the arena, everyone surrounded him because everyone knew the first ones to get eliminated were always the people who looked the weakest. Even the examiner figured he'd be the first unlucky guy knocked out. But then, everyone's jaws hit the floor. With a single kick, he sent 9 students flying. But being too strong just made him an even bigger target. More and more students teamed up to take him down. Right then, Sia stepped in without hesitation. The moment her chant was finished, a tier 3 spell exploded across the battlefield. Every student charging at them was eliminated in an instant. The students, the examiners, everyone was stunned. If these two are this broken, why are they even taking the entrance exam? But the guy noticed something else. He casually asked, "So, do people really have to chant every spell now?" That one sentence made the examiner burst out laughing. To him, the guy didn't even know basic magic, but the guy understood the truth. After 400 years, modern magic had declined beyond recognition. The very next second, he didn't even bother chanting. He casually fired off 4 tier 4 spells.
同時に4個並列起動だと嘘だろ
The entire arena fell silent. The examiner's brain completely shut down. He immediately announced both the guy and Sia had passed. Soon after, the written exam began. The guy walked in full of confidence, but the second he looked at the test, he froze. Not because it was difficult, because it was way too easy. The only problem was there were way too many questions. Even so, he still finished long before time was up. What he didn't know was that students were only supposed to answer the questions for their own major. Instead, he completed every single test paper, scoring 958 points and smashing the Academy's all-time record. When the principal saw the score, his first reaction wasn't excitement, it was cheating. Not until the first examiner explained everything that happened during the practical exam did the principal finally believe it. This freshman was practically the Thunder Emperor reborn. On the day the results were posted, Sia ran over excitedly. She'd made it into the elite class, but after searching the rankings, the guy couldn't find his own name anywhere. Just when he thought he'd failed, he discovered the Academy had accepted him through a special admission. His tuition was completely free. He got a living stipend, and he was even assigned to be the face of the Academy, representing it at public events. The guy almost lost it. He only came here to quietly research magic and find a way to break through his limits. Showing off was never part of the plan, but an even bigger headache was already waiting. Right then, he spotted a familiar face and immediately dove for cover, because that person was his disciple from 400 years ago, the legendary Archmage Merlin. Even after reincarnating, his face still resembled his old self. If his identity got exposed, there'd be no such thing as a peaceful life anymore. But the moment he left, Merlin sensed something strange. At first, he thought he was imagining things, but after seeing the guy again, he immediately chased after him, asking if he had any connection to the Thunder Emperor. The guy just shrugged, said he had no idea, then dragged Sia off to grab lunch, but he could only hide for so long. The next day, the guest speaker at the opening ceremony turned out to be Principal Merlin himself, and as the freshman representative, the guy walked right back into his line of sight. This time, Merlin didn't expose him in public. Instead, he privately confronted him, getting straight to the point.
君は生まれ変わりという言葉を知っているか。
The guy denied everything, but Merlin already had proof. First, he'd set the highest academic record in school history. Second, none of the professors could understand how he solved the problems because he was using magic theory from the Thunder Emperor's era 400 years ago. That's when the guy realized time itself had sold him out. Knowing he couldn't hide anymore, he quickly made up a story, claiming he was actually a descendant of the Thunder Emperor, whose family had lived deep in the mountains, passing down the Thunder Emperor's magic for generations. To make it sound more believable, he even revealed a secret, that the Thunder Emperor actually had zero talent for magic and eventually died after losing his memory. The instant those words left his mouth, Merlin's expression changed. He quickly covered the guy's mouth because that secret was only known to the Thunder Emperor's closest companions. At that moment, Merlin became certain the young man before him had an incredibly deep connection to the Thunder Emperor. Soon after, Merlin proposed a magic duel. He wanted to test the Thunder Emperor's legacy and see how far he'd come after 400 years of training. As for the guy, he wanted to see for himself how much his former disciple had grown. A master and student battle for centuries in the making was finally about to begin.